So picking up where we left off at and really talking about where the candidate spends his or her resources and the decisions that are made in that process. We kind of talked about, you know, the factors of the candidate, what they have to deal with, what they have to contend with, and your voting creates a history, and if your community has a block or a history of voting, then it really gives the candidate a signal that they need to go into that community. So then I'll make the argument that a good candidate with a good campaign has to make decisions based on this data. And for you not to vote, for you not to take the 5 minutes or so to fill in a bubble, could be the very reason why your house gets skipped over. And if a community chooses to follow, so you have a block, a whole entire community that follows in that same effort, then an entire community may be missed. So don't be don't be the reason your house is skipped over. Go vote. It does matter. So then let's vote. Let's flash forward, and so let's say you've created a voting history. The candidate comes back and has to make another decision. Under his or her time, money, and help, does it make sense to go to a community with a voting history contrary to the candidate's political party? Now, personally, I think it's a mistake made by a candidate to not go into a community or to avoid a community because of its political ideology. My experience says that people are willing to listen to you, and if you have some relationship history of delivering results, you can overcome that barrier. However, I understand there are some realities, there are some limitations, and that the nature of an office being run by a candidate, again, giving the candidate's resources may be the reason why that candidate goes and switch into an area that votes according to his or her political ideology as opposed to going to serve the people. Totally understand it. We have a little bit of disagreement in it, but I understand it. So you have so much to contend with as this candidate. Again, we're talking about the candidate going to your door, trying to solicit your vote. Whether do people want to open up their doors in the cold, or how many people love coming to the door when it's dinner time, or you're watching the U of I play football. A candidate's time with a door-to-door, you may have 30 seconds or so to spout your message. And so he or she will most likely spend their time talking to people who they believe most likely will listen to their message. That approach, right or wrong, is a reality. So to make your vote count, you may have to listen to candidates outside of your traditional choice. Now, if we can switch gears quickly and talk about your voting behavior. Some people don't vote because they believe that politicians are liars and they never keep their promises. You have to realize there's a difference between a candidacy and being in office. A candidate, especially a fresh candidate, may have tons of great ideas going forward, may just want to change the world. And when they get into office, they realize the dynamics of the office. They realize they have to contend with political will. They have to network with a group of people, whether it's at the congressional, the state, the local level. It's more than their idea, and it's always a limited amount of resources to accomplish that idea. So sometimes a candidate may not necessarily know what he or she's getting into and make promises that they just can't keep once they get in. But, neither here nor there. Maybe it's a communication process and talking about that. But as a politician gets older and more experienced, he or she should be able to deliver some of the results that matter to you or most. But if you vote for a person time and time again and you get zero results, one thing I know is that a politician, why would they change? What stimulus do you give them to change if you're going to vote for them regardless? In their eyes, they're doing a great job. So your voting it does matter because it gives a politician a sense of whether they're engaged or whether they're doing a good job, or the person coming into office what they shouldn't do. So it really sends a signal out to people, what matters and what matters the least to the people they're serving. So your vote does matter. it does matter. So then provide the stimulus for change and vote. You have to be at all times willing to voice your opinion through your action. Therefore, you must vote and be willing to vote people who will deliver results for you. But then you have to vote for the person that will deliver results for you and your community. And enough people follow this voting pattern, you will most likely see that your vote does matter. This is a lot of heavy content in the last few minutes. We started off talking about the candidacy. We talked about this whole notion why people don't vote. We talked about the nature of the candidate. And we just hopefully, I've stimulated your mind to the point where you see that an aspect in how your vote does matter. This is a Facebook, YouTube Connect. So if you would like to contact me directly at williamkyles2@yahoo.com, that would be great. That's WILLIAMKYLES, the number 2 at yahoo.com. Go vote. Your vote does matter. Let's talk about it.